So is it live as you or is it Norvise?
Live as Norvise.
Okay.
Norvise is now live. Throw your phone on the floor. I don't really hear it vibrating.
Well, where are you looking at the questions and all that from?
My computer.
What up, Tyler?
Which, by the way... What? This is what you...
Hey, Jake. Hey, Mr. Jordan. Huh? Yeah. Okay. What, can you see everything from that?
I can see.
Like all the questions, though?
I see there's 17 people. Yes, I'll be able to see the questions.
Yeah.
They'll come in as the delayed, like they're...
Hey, Mr. Davis. Just gonna wait a second until a couple more people get in.
I didn't get a hey.
Hey, Mark. Coach Mark soon.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mr. Collar.
How about your grandmother? Or your aunt?
Don't know. It's fine.
Or Tim?
Tyler's in. It's alright. Yep, I'll be tying a couple different things, just streamer patterns and stuff like that. Some I came up with, just general baitfish. The different one has interchangeable tails and stuff like that. No, I don't. Hey, Mr. Shoemaker. Tying that one up.
Ask him if he fished his flies yet.
Ask him if he's fished the flies yet. Mom wants to know if you fished a couple of those game changers yet. From Brazil, Nova Scotia.
Wow. Oh, here. What time is it? Another probably 2 minutes time.
Oh yeah. On the trip, can I bring some stuff? Someone said, Tim, you've lost weight.
Just a little bit. It's a new youthful diet.
Alright, Mom. Want to start?
It's only 6:59. You have to wait till 7 Tuesday.
Alright.
Only by the computer time.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Ani. Huh? Yeah.
Did you ask if anybody went fishing today? Hey. Hey. Ask if anybody went fishing today.
Why?
Just while you're waiting.
Hey, Mr. Landry.
Alright, what's your numbers up to?
51.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright. Hey everybody, I'm Braden Miller. I'm one of Nor-vise's ambassadors, and tonight I'll be tying my cardiac arrest and the double cardiac arrest. It's a pattern that I came up with and a friend here in Virginia. We use it for snakehead, smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, bowfin, stuff like that. We're going to use it more for this season for snakehead mainly, but it's a great general baitfish imitator. Bluegill, you can tie it in shad colors and so on. What, Mom?
You're small.
I said that. Here's just a couple fished ones. This one's a little bit beat up, smallmouth and stuff like that. Just the double version. This one is one of the original double hook in articulated versions, it doesn't have the interchangeable tails like the other one. And this was the original double hook. A little bit longer tail, a little bit skinnier, but keeps the profile in the front. And it, as you see in all of them, they've all got that flat head on them. That's going to help them glide in the water. And the double actually swims like a game changer on a 2-hand strip. And if you stop it and make a quick jerk strip with your line, it'll glide to the side. And the single actually just has one articulation, so it really hinges in the water with that flat profile. It'll kick and swim with that tail, and the tail's just a dragon tail, so it's got a bunch of action. And when you stop it, same like the other one, it'll have a jerk effect on it and glide, but it'll actually just hinge the body left and right. So to start off with, we're going to start with the single hook. Just take a 25 millimeter, here, zoom in.
You need to tell them this is our first go at this.
Yeah, sorry, this is the first Facebook Live. So take out the standard jaws, pop in the fine point jaws. Zoom out just a little bit. There you go. So with the flyman shanks, the articulated shanks and the game changer shanks, one end has a clip, and the other one has the eye of the shank. We're going to take the clip end and all the way up to the eye, probably going to leave about half an inch to an inch, and come in with some pliers and trim that off. I like just having a trim shank. You can use a 15 millimeter shank or any homemade shank that you want. Then I just file it down so it's not a sharp edge. And I like the clipped one because there's not a added piece of metal on the end impeding the action of the dragon tail, but it'll still have a decent action on it, good action. So this is the Semperfli original thread. This their 6/0, their 100 Denier. Start that. It's a little bit difficult not having any flat side on the shank when you put it in. There you go. So start your thread. Get a good thread base because this dragon tail, it's gonna want to slip if you don't have a lot of thread pressure down on it. So get a good thread base, and now you're gonna take your dragon tail. We use the micro size, the 4-inch. Gonna want maybe a little bit more than half of it. Trim a little bit ahead of it, and then strip off the material, exposing the white cotton core right there. That's just going to make sure so you have a cleaner tying point. And you can tie into the more into the actual material if you want. Really secure that in there. So I've heard from a lot of people that these tails just really aren't all that durable. You can make them more durable, or you can just leave them like this. As you can see, it's just that material spun up on a cotton core, so it can pull off while you're casting or fishing, and just in general over time. So I'll show you how to put glue in it so it'll still have a good action in the water over time. So now that you have this tied in, you're going to take 2 hen saddles, and all I did, I chose them from the center of the hen saddle, and you just strip off the fuzzy parts of them. And what I mean by center, I mean like up in this area. As you can see, there's like less in there. So take your 2 feathers, pair them up like this, lay them right on top of each other. Grab the tips at once, and then stroke back the fibers all together. That's going to leave you with like a triangle. Come in, and all you're going to do, snip that off. That's going to help you with a cleaner tying point and not having as much of a, I'd say, bulkier thread body on there.
Nick Fox didn't get in when you said what you were tying, so why don't you tell everybody again the name of what you're tying?
So the one that I'm tying right now is a single hook cardiac arrest. One of my patterns that is a good imitator for bluegill, and you can tie it in shad colors or any other, like a pinfish for saltwater. And then after that, the double cardiac arrest. So after tying these in, you're going to want to stroke back the fibers. Stroke back the fibers.
Your dad said logged into what? Your dad said logged into what?
Use the vise to slowly palmer these around. They don't all need to be touching wraps, just because you're going to want to make your way all the way up to the eye of that shank. There you go. Alright. 3 behind, 3 in front. Snip that off. And then come through and pick out any fibers that might have been trapped or twisted off into another direction or whatever. Clean that up a little bit, and then whip finish your half hitch.
Say hi to your dad.
Hey, Dad. So, to finish off any of my thread heads or heads on any of my flies, I just like to use a little bit of Solarrez bone dry, just a UV glue or resin that you apply, and then hit it with the light.
Norvise would like to know what kind of comb that is.
What kind?
You were just using.
Oh, that's the Loon, or I think the Ergo comb. Yeah, the Ergo comb.
I didn't know. Common paper.
And then another one that's just, I think they're Ergo hair comb. Just the Ergo comb has finer bristles and more of them in there to pick out the material. Alright, so now you're going to take a another 25 millimeter shank, clip that on to your tail, and now we're going to make this tail durable. Alright, so it's all spun up on a cotton core and it's all flimsy. You're going to find the direction that it's furrowed in, which is towards you. Take a couple small drops of Loctite gel super glue around the base of it. Oil it with your right hand or your whatever dominant hand you are, and then just twist and let go. If you hold on too long and you try to twist like that, all it's going to do is pull out.
Sal would like to know. I have to make my thing bigger. 1 second. What your leader formula when you cast these? Also, what weight rod would you suggest?
I can cast up to an 8 weight, very comfortable on the double. I actually fished this one mainly on a 7 weight for smallmouth, and I can cast the single hook version on a 5 weight. My leader setup for the double and the single either run straight 20 pound if I'm going for snakehead, bowfin, or just largemouth. Smallmouth, normally 20 down to like 15, and just go from there. Just 2 straight sections from with a uni to uni or a blood knot. And that's all I really use. And if it's just real clear water, I'll tie on all tan or like a brown or a white single cardiac arrest and just do 20 to 15 to 12 pound with the longer leader and then run it like that. Probably on a 7 or 8, but I can comfortably fish the double on an 8 weight, no problem. Alright, last little thing to do this tail. Put the cap on this. The Solarrez Flex. Just like you did with the Loctite.
Exactly.
Just dab a little bit of it all around. And especially on that tip. So, come in with your fingers again and work it in. If you really want it to be super durable, you can go in with the Solarrez Thin and go hold it up and take a bodkin, spread all the way down to that core and put a real small dot on there with the Solarrez Thin, so even in the center of the core it won't come out. Or you could do the same thing with the Loctite on your bodkin, just open it up and put a real small part on that core, and that's going to help it from spreading out from that from the core, the cotton core. Then
Corey Ruth just joined.
Hey, Mr. Ruth, what's going on? Alright, so tail's all finished. I've probably fished this thing, I don't know, I've casted it and fished it a lot. Smallmouth, largemouth, everything. But it's still holding up, tail's still doing great. Alright, so for the front, switch out these jaws real quick. So to the fine point, to the standard jaws. And then we're going to take a 1/0 Gamakatsu B10S. And then you can actually just line up your 25mm shank, whatever. I've used this fly with different hooks, like the newer Arex minnow hook and the 2/0. It works well. It's a little bit shorter, thicker gauge wire, but the hook cap is really nice.
Someone asked what part of Virginia you're from.
Richmond, Virginia area, the Glen Allen. So line up your 25mm shank. We can actually do the whole one. So just cut out a little bit behind that shank guy. And then start your thread behind the eye of the hook. And then get a nice thread base going, just because you're gonna have that wire and you really want it to grip to it. And then you're gonna super glue that wire, that shank down.
Terry says, is there an extension on your Nor-vise stem, or is it the camera angle? Seems long from this view. Oh, it does look long. It's the camera.
Yep, just the camera view. It's a little bit lower and angled up. So we're gonna file this down a little bit. I'm just gonna file the shank.
Oh, someone from Montpelier's on.
Alright, so now that you got your shank, you're gonna line it up. So I'm gonna do it on my side, but just, you don't want to go back super far, but I'd say just to about where the end of that loop is on your front connection shank is. That's where you want it to be laying on where the bend starts. Or here, zoom in, show you what I'm talking about. Like right where the bend starts is where you want your loop hanging. So.
Somebody asked how long you've been tying.
I've been tying, what's it been?
7 years? Started when you were 8?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 7 years. Yep.
Tell them when you started.
Started when I was 8 and been tying ever since. I started tying before I actually started fishing.
Fly fishing.
Yep, fly fishing. Been fishing since I could walk.
Someone from Lynchburg, Virginia.
Alright, so I'm going to take a hair clip just so this tail doesn't start flying around and get in the way. Get a good thread base. And then come in with the super glue. Rub that in.
Your auntie said you've been obsessed since birth.
Alright, so now I'm going to take, this is Blaine Chocklett's filler flash. You can use polar chenille or any really like long frizzly chenille. We're going to put this into a complex twist.
What weight rod do you cast the single one on? What weight rod do you cast the single on again?
I can fish it down to a 5 weight, but 8 weight no problem, and a 7 weight no problem. Mainly 7 and 8. So we're gonna take Schlappen. So you got your filler flash or your Palmer chenille tied in. Thank you, Mr. Landry. So, just like your hen saddle, grab it by the tip and stroke back some fibers. Go. Cut that little triangle into it, like so. And then tie that in right where you tied in that filler flash. So, got your filler flash tied in, you got your Schlappen tied in, do your half hitch, pull over your thread. All I'm gonna do is take my filler flash and my Schlappen, lay them directly on top of each other, and just like that, all vertical and in line. I'm gonna hold my Schlappen feather and pick out the fibers so they're not all grabbing together and they're splayed out, so when I go to spin this up they won't get all trapped and wrapped around in that filler flash. Alright, so now you're gonna go under and grab your thread while you're holding the filler flash and the Schlappen. Oh, thread got trapped. There we go.
Terry told Tim he's going to up his game.
Alrighty, so try that again. Under while holding the filler flash and the Schlappen. And spin. Take your comb or your bodkin and just come in here and pick out the fibers. Because now all you're doing is furling together the Schlappen and the filler flash onto the thread, so it's all one, it's all super durable. And then come in with your, fold that back, and then as I go to wrap this forward, stroke back the fibers. It is a little bit coarse with that filler flash. when you tie this with the feather flash, it's I feel like it splays out the actual Schlappen fibers better, and it keeps the body fuller in the water. If you tie it with the polar chenille, I feel like it falls down a little bit more, and it gives it a little bit of a more skinnier profile. Both work fine. I just tend to go with the feather flash option more because we have a lot more smaller bluegill in our area, and it just imitates it better with that wide and taller profile. So take your thread just like a dubbing loop, go 3 behind it, three in front of it, pick it out before I trim it. There we go.
Wow, 432. Somebody said you're doing great.
Thank you. Come in with a little bit of smaller comb, and then even smaller comb, and really get in there and pick out all the fibers. I don't feel like it matters if you leave in the webbier parts of the feather in there. I feel like it just flows a little bit more and gives the fly more action.
Uncle Tim's dad, Mr. Gary, says he's learning a lot of new words.
Thank you.
Ask him if his son bought him a fly rod yet.
Has Uncle Tim bought you a fly rod yet? I think he fly fishes already. There you go. Alright, so now that you got your fly all picked out, you can tell it's going to keep it a little bit bulkier and still have flash with that natural material, the natural Schlappen. Alright. Come this all back. We're going to come in with Greg Sinio's, his laser dub from Hairline. You don't want to use a lot of it. You can build up a really big, bulky, and heavy head on this fly really quick with this material. But I'm just going to pull out a small amount and just pick and pull and then place it directly on top of it. Can you see it on the live stream?
Yep.
Alright, so just pull the fibers and place them directly on top of each other.
Say hi to Morgan Eddy and Jim Miller.
Hey, Mr. Eddy. Hey, Mr. Miller. What's going on? Alright, so now that you got all the fibers in line, gonna place it directly on top of it. Pinch it with your left hand or your right hand, whatever hand you're dominant in. Make one decent wrap with decent amount of tension, and then another one, and then pull down tight. Because what you're gonna get with that, it's not gonna roll over onto the sides. Like I'm going to try to have the white showing on the sides. My eyes are just gonna take that place in this fly. And then same thing with my bottom color, it's going to be placed directly on the bottom of it, and you're cinching it in the area where you want it, so it's not going to roll over. You're not putting a big amount on there, so you don't want to try to cover the whole head. You just want a certain area. Just going to leave it 50-50 spread out like that. Flip it over the belly. Take the yellow now.
Can you see Brian Shoemaker's? I'm not sure what he's saying.
I'm going to keel it at the end. I just did it. I'm going to do it at the end just so I could do the complex twist with the thread. If I'm tying these a little bit slower and not wanting to sit here and twist up the feather in the flash, I'll keel it as I'm tying. But for the live stream, I wanted to show how another way that you can do the complex twist. I'll show how to keel it at the end too. I've got the lead wire.
Jim Miller said Team TFO, and then somebody said, you're explaining better than the president of Nor-vise.
So when I go to continue my thread in front of this thread, the dubbing, sorry, I'm gonna pull back the belly, or you can flip the vise and pull back the top. I'll pull back the belly, go in between of them, so one, going diagonal in between them, and then not doing a full wrap yet, pulling back the top, making a small dam in front of that. That's just gonna help it keep it back. And then a couple wraps in front. Gonna pick out this dubbing a little bit. There you go. Alright, so just continue that process up to the hook eye. When you think about it and you tie this pattern, it really isn't all that hard. There's not too many steps in it. Once you tie this fly once or twice, you can almost get it down pat.
What threads are you using?
This one is the Semperfli original thread. They're 6/0 flat wax. It's the 100 Denier. I like using the 100 Denier GSP, the Vivis, or the Semperfli, or 140 power thread. So, same thing, just stack right on top. And then stack of yellow on the belly.
Pat O'Neill said he might start fly fishing. Nice job.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Lou said, good kid, keep it up.
Let's see, so.
Say hi to Mr. and Mrs. Moose, your principal.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Moose. Let's see. So, same thing, 50-50, just like the last stack. Pull back the bottom, go diagonal between them, pull back the top. Couple wraps ahead of it. Pick out the belly.
She said Mr. Moose says hey.
Oh, going down to North Carolina tomorrow, so I'll let you know if we get anything.
And you know what Ashley wants.
Oh, there's some big ones there now.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so up to the front of it now, the head.
Alright, hold on one second. It says, please identify the tail material again.
Alright, so here it is. So it's called a micro dragon tail. The hairline makes it. It's just like a chenille tail, basically. It's like a chenille spun up onto a cotton core. But they make them, I believe, up to 9, maybe 10 inches long. This is the 4-inch, the micro version. I end up cutting it down just a little bit. They're not really all that durable, but you can make them durable by adding just a little bit of super glue at the end and then a little bit of UV resin. But there's a lot of action in the water and they're fun to tie with. I do know a lot of people that really hate them and hate tying with them, but I find them pretty cool and they catch fish. So
Go ahead and this is a good time for you to remind anybody that if you miss their question, you will go through and reply.
Oh yeah, so
later.
If we end up missing any questions or anything, we'll go back in later on and search through the stream and answer anything that we might have missed.
Andrew Spangler said, what are you going after tomorrow?
Hopefully some king mackerel and possibly wahoo. They were getting some blackfin tuna near the beach. There's some big albies around, big bluefish, the chopper blues, and if the wind ends up getting too bad, there's always sharks around. So anyway, it should be fun day, Monday and Tuesday.
Just looking like Monday. Weather's looking bad. Andrew said. Someone just said, "Do you saltwater flies in the NC Ocean?" Yes, sir. Hi from Australia.
Oh, awesome.
Scylla said, "Hey, she loves watching you tonight."
Hey, Mr. Johnson. So, same thing. Last little stack of yellow on this belly. So, 50-50. Pull back your yellow stack. Pull back your olive stack.
Oh,
This time I actually wrapped a little bit on top of them. That'll keep them back. You don't have to do that. A lot of times I don't do that if I have enough space in front of the head. Like, see if I can find it. Yep. So, like this one here. There's no actual thread wraps holding back the dubbing. It tends to hold itself back. Where with this one, I just put like a double deceiver, not a hollow tie, but a reverse tie. I just put barely a couple thread wraps in front of it. Now I'm gonna take the fluorescent orange on the belly. This is just a little bit of something extra I like to add to it.
Troy Unger's on. Do you remember him? From when you used to do it, TSI.
Oh.
Speed and agility. So make sure you say hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
But you might not have heard me. You might want to say something.
Oh, hi, Mr. Ungers. How you doing? So, a little bit of orange on the belly there. And then whip finish or half hitch, whatever you want to do. Come through. Take out this fly. Alright, so with this super long, or not super long, but this longer fibers in the dubbing that are going to cover up your body a little bit, you can come through with your fingers and actually pick them out. It's not going to pull them out completely, it's just going to break them off from the longer fiber. That's just going to let a little bit more of that flash in the body show through. Pick out everything one last time before putting on your eyes. Alright, so now for the fun part.
Andrew Campbell said looking good.
Thank you.
Oh, I think I just replied to him.
Alright, so these are 8mm eyes. These are from Spawnfly Fish. You can go onto their website and they've got all their own personal eyes. And these are the 8mm. I found the 8mm fills up the head a little bit more. And the 6mm is really good if you're like throwing on like a more natural color, where the bigger eye is gonna maybe fare off the fish. So you got the hook eye right here, and right behind it on the side, I'm gonna lock my vise at 90 degrees. This just really helps it. And then right on the 90 degrees, place it there. and then I'm going to pinch that eye to the hook shank because I'm trying to get that as flat as a profile as I can, because that's going to help that fly once I put UV resin on it jackknife in the water, where in the friction with just the dubbing head, it's going to add more friction in the water, which it's not going to make it glide as well with just the dubbing. But if you add UV resin and you make it really slick in that head and it's really flat, that's going to really help it glide and have as least amount of friction in the water, and it's just going to move more.
Andrew said that head will really pull a vacuum to make the tail wag. Sharks will dig it.
I tied up a couple shark flies today.
Callie wants to know what you're using to have the eye stick.
So I'm using the give me 1 second. This is Loctite.
Remember, she's
super glue.
4.
Oh yeah, sorry. So it's just a super glue. It's a gel glue. It's super easy to work with, and you just squeeze it from the sides here and place it wherever you want.
Tell her she can't play with it though.
Oh yeah, it'll make a mess if you get your fingers stuck to the fly. So when you're putting on the eyes, and say you get a like a fingerprint like I did with that one there, if it'll pop up. Yep. So a little bit foggy and where my fingerprint is, you can put some UV resin on there to actually hide that. Alright, so get your profile that you want. What's up?
Your granddad texted said Tim's taking a beating. We still worked out.
Alright, so get my light ready. So the Solarrez Flex, where is it? There you go. The green bottle. Alright, so get your profile that you want. This bottle's almost empty.
Tim said, who said I'm taking a beating? Someone said, can you make dry flies, bro?
I mean, if it's a game changer, maybe. But I'm not very good at those.
Then that's your favorite.
So, here, let's zoom in for this.
Got it?
Yep.
Keep your finger.
Sorry about that. So, all I'm doing, I'm getting the profile that I want. And just apply the UV resin where you want. This is the flex, so it's not like the thin or the thick, where the thin's flowy and the thick is just harder to work with. It's a little bit more pliable and you can move it around a little bit better, and it'll actually smash down when a fish bites on it. It'll smash down and puff back up. It's very durable. So place a little bit all around the eyes and on that dubbing, and this is what you use to build up your profile. This will hold up your profile in the water, and it doesn't add very much weight. You can add weight in it. You can add sparkles. You can add just stuff to it. You can add sparkles to it or anything else that you'd like. So what you can see there, I went up onto the dubbing to build up that profile. I can push the head up like this to get that. I can pull it down to get a smaller profile, but I'm gonna want it to hold up. So that, like that, and then come in with the light.
Hey, that man David Doak said you have mad skills.
Thank you, Granddaddy. And then
Everybody says you're doing a great job explaining. Martin asked, is this for trout fishing?
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can use it for trout. I'm sure the double would be awesome for brown trout. Double's got one small stinger in the back. This one, I actually do. If we went out west this summer, I would have fished it for trout, especially that double. But yes, I would. I'm sure it'll work. It would work. All right, so as you can see with that UV resin, it'll hold up that profile.
Someone from Iceland is watching.
So at this point, your fly is finished. If you wanted to, you could go in. You could add different UV resins, like Solarrez has some where they've got colors to them, and then some that are sparkling, stuff like that. Or even like a marker, you can add barring to it and barring to the tail, or even other colors and put it into the dubbing and blend it up if you wanted to. Solarrez makes their colored ones, like I said. This one's just like that fluorescent red. If you wanted to, you could come in, just put a small amount. Not that it's really going to make any big of a difference with that dubbing that I already put there, but
Someone said white and brown for taming.
that's awesome.
Daniel said, I know the one you're using now. It works the best.
Alright, so there's your finished single hook cardiac arrest. This one's in that in the bluegill color. It's a great little bluegill imitator. You can tie it in white, gray over white for the shad or anything like that. But for right now, I'm going to add a keel weight to it. So I'm going to fold back all that material. Where did it go? Take my hair clip. Pull everything back like that. It's not going to mess up any of the materials. So this is 0250 lead wire, or 025.
Uncle Jason's on.
And then you're going to take it, hold the hook, wrap the wire slightly in your left hand, make a few, I'd say 5 to 7 wraps in there, and then pop it off. If y'all couldn't see that, I can do it again, but just let me know. Where's it at?
Where's what?
The white scissors. There. Take some scissors that you don't care about if you can't wiggle off your lead wire. And then, there we go.
Keith, he's a slacker. He said he has to go unpack his camper.
Alright, so same thing with that flex resin. If you put the keel on at the end, you can actually switch up the keel weights if you needed to, or take it off, or put a heavier keel weight on. So say if I don't want the 025, I can put on 020 or 015, 0150 or whatever it might be, and just change up the weights and mix and match. So all I'm going to do is take the flex. It'll come out. There you go. Work it onto the bend of that hook shank. You're not gonna fully encase it. You can do it. You can still pick it off, but you can go in there if you really wanted to with your fingernail or another hook and pick it off. But it's been holding on for fish for me for a while. Take that off. And you can do that while you're on the boat or whatever. But now I always fish with a hair comb or a flea comb or some comb that I have here while I'm fishing. Just any synthetic or one of these dubbing heads. If I get like a pickerel or a bass or something that really messes up this dubbing or gets stuck in their teeth and it's all messed up and pull it out, I can go in there with the comb and fix the fly up real quick.
Justin and I said barramundi would be all over that in Australia.
That'd be freaking awesome. So, there you go. Just a little bluegill imitation. Like I said, tie it in a bunch of different colors. And if you tie it up and catch some fish on it, let me know. Send me a picture. So, here's the really fun fly.
Just so you know, you're at almost 10 minutes to 8, so you can, I guess, keep going as long as people stay on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll finish this fly. So,
you might want to tell them that.
I'll finish this fly up and then head off.
Well, you're gonna do your double, right?
Yep.
This one.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
I'm gonna show y'all how I did the articulated tail and swapping out the tails and stuff like that on this fly. But
I mean, you can do the articulated and all that.
Well, that's what I was talking about. This is the whole fly. So with this fly, it's got it's same fly, just added stuff to it. Two 15mm shanks in the body up here. That's the double version. Then you got a size 4 Gammarus hook in the back, and a 2-aught Gamakatsu B10S up in the front. Same flathead profile like the other one, so it'll jackknife in the water and have a really awesome action. When it's swimming, it's got that game changer action on 2-hand strip. But probably one of my favorite things to this fly now that was actually shown to me and idea that was given to me by Blaine Chocklett, it was switching out the tails. So I can run a yellow tail to match the head. I can run a chartreuse wiggle tail on the back. I can pop off the wiggle tail. I can throw on a white tail to match the body. And then I can pop off the white tail. Put that one back on. I can pop off the white tail and put on a chartreuse tail if I wanted to. But it's super simple. It's really cool. It's really fast. And say your tail falls off or gets messed up, you can just clip on a new one that you have thrown on in the box. You can do the same thing that I'm about to do with this one here on the single.
We're going to do that one another night.
Well, I'm not going to show it on that one.
No, I'm saying we'll tie that one another night. Another live, or we'll put it up on
the double.
Or the Nor-vise YouTube or your website.
All right, I'm good with that.
But you can show them how to tie the tail. And
all right. So how you do the tail, I'm going to have to swap out. I won't actually tie the whole fly, and I'll just show you how to do the tail, but after I do, I'll show you how to do the interchangeable tails and all. We'll head off.
Well,
so.
You can take questions, see if anybody has any questions before you get off.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. So, take your fine point jaws, and then either a 25 or a 15mm shank. I'll start with the 15. So 15mm shank, you got your clip end, and then you got your eyelet in, or your eye in. All I'm going to do right now is take a pair of pliers and open up that clip just a little bit.
Before you put it in there, someone said, why do you switch to the fine point jaws?
Instead of putting on the standard jaws or keeping them on, it's just with the fine point jaws, it holds the shank and the smaller hooks and shanks and eyes of the shanks and everything easier. When I'm tying game changers, I tie on this thing mainly, except for the hook portions where I'll tie my tail end of the game changer, and then I'll attach the tail end of the game changer to the hook. I'll tie the whole tail end on this, then I'll swap back to the standard for the hook and attach the tail to that, and then keep going to the hook again. And then, so yeah, I probably mainly tie with the fine point jaws when I'm tying. So, actually putting the eye into the fine point jaws. So, let's start my thread. You're going to have to work around this.
Thank you, Terry.
You're going to have to work around this whole clip end.
Terry says you seem to have a good manager.
She's the best.
He is exhausting, though.
Alright, so I'll start off with this curly tail. So, I find I like the 15 millimeter better for the curly tail just because it's soft plastic, doesn't add a lot of bulk when you're tying it on, and it's just smaller section. So, I'll tie this directly on. It's a little bit slippery, so gotta work with it a little bit.
Oops, say hey to Ed.
What's going on, Ed? And then you got your rubber, your soft plastic right there. Come in, pop it off. And then you're gonna grab 2 hen saddles, whatever color your double cardiac arrest is gonna be. Stroke back the fibers. Make that triangle like you did with the other cardiac arrest. Stroke back the fibers on this. Just to walk it. All the way down to that shank clip.
Oh, say hi to Heather Terry.
Hmm?
Say hi to Heather Terry. Remember Xander from when you were little?
Oh, yeah.
That's his mom. Say hi.
Hi, Miss Terry. How you doing? Alright, clip off that feather. Alright, clipped off that feather. Just left with that little tail section there. It's a little bit difficult to work around this clip section, like I said. But once you get used to it, it's not super hard. Whip finish. And then snip that off. A little bit of UV glue.
Oh, hi, Miss Letson.
Hey, Miss Letson. Hit it with the light, and then we're going to open this up just a little bit with these pliers. And then there's one of your interchangeable tail sections. Now, if I wanted to, I can go in here,
She said hi.
put this in. And then I'm actually, this year, this season, I'm going to end up filling up a box of just the doubles and then the single cardiac arrest, and then have a just a couple baggies full of just different colored tails and sizes, and then everything like that, so I can swap them out as I'm fishing if I want to or not. For the dragon tail one, take a 25 millimeter shank, just like you would be tying on the dragon tail for the single. You're going to leave a little bit of space so you can get that tail on. Come in here, leave about, I don't know, half an inch. Snip that off.
Martin said, have you ever been to Scotland for some fishing?
I have not, but I've seen some really awesome fish caught out of there. There you go. Open up that shank. Alright, start your thread. Again,
Tim says you can
tension.
keep going if you want.
Tie the double. Oh,
It's up to you.
I'll tie it. Alright, so end up taking the white tail. So
Somebody asked what's your time.
I'm tying the double hooked cardiac arrest with the interchangeable tails, like this. Got a flat profile, so it's got a what?
Your said sounds like your next vacation.
Maybe, but yep. So measure it up to whatever you want. Give it about a little more than half of it.
Everyone else wants to know what kind of pliers you're using.
Which one? So I'm using, I don't know the name of these, Dad gave them to me, so.
We'll find out for him.
So just a small angle pair of pliers. I use those for clipping in my Game Changer shanks or any shanks for like the double here. And then just a pair of Klein tool pliers for snipping off and cutting shanks. And then I use this part here for filing them down. What?
Just keep going.
Yeah. I don't know what you're saying.
You will when you think about it.
Alright, so take your dragon tail, tie that in. Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I told you. Someone said you should come to Balkans. I guess I hope I'm saying that right.
Balkans.
Grayling, brown, taming fishing. Oh Lord, he'd be in heaven.
Oh yeah, timing, taming. Alright, so when you're tying the double cardiac arrest, same, you can treat the dragon tail the same for like the single hook. You can put the Loctite on, you can put the Flex super glue, the Flex UV resin on, and everything like that to make it even more durable. And then I'm gonna take, again, 2 hen saddles, grab them by the tips, stroke back those fibers, and then snip off to make that triangle and tie them in. And then again, you can fold them up for that tail. So, gonna hurry up on this tail so we can get into the actual fly. Tie over those stems a little bit, snip them off, and then whip finish. Alright.
Hello from Argentina. Also, Martin asked how old you are.
I'm 14 years old. Alright, so there you go. Had a reminders on. Alright, so wherever that one went. Now you can just clip on that tail and run it like that. Alright, so now let's get into the fly. So to start off with, you're going to start with a size 4 Arex Gammarus. We're going to clip her in. So
Holy moly.
What's up?
Oh, really?
Alright, so start thread behind the hook eye. Get a good thread base. Gonna want to take another 25mm shank. Let's see. take it to where your rear end of it, the clip part, that's where you're actually going to tie in, where it's going to be laying off the back like that. So you're going to end up measuring that out, make it really short, just because since there's no hook on the back of it, no fish is going to grab on and really rip it out, even though you're going to glue it. So
Chip said, can you trim the front part that you cut off for a nether fly?
I'm sure you could with like a, say, I would say probably the, being you got the eye of the shank and the shank off the back, you could use it as like a stonefly tail for like a bigger stonefly or something like that. I've never really done anything with it. I'm sure I probably should save them for something else.
That'd be great.
And then I'm gonna simply tie it directly on top of that shank, like so.
Braden asked, what kind of vise is that? You want to just give a brief, quick description of your vise?
So this is the Norvise. Yeah. So this is the Norvise. It comes with the standard jaws and then smaller hubs. These are actually upscaled hubs and a thread post.
Tell me what it does.
It spins on what? So when you're tying, you can put your hook in line, and it's, instead of actually wrapping, you're spinning the vise to wrap your thread. It makes tying quicker, easier, and I feel like it's made me a better tyer with certain flies, and it's really easy once you get used to the vise, and I would check it out for sure. So
Any suppliers for Europe? Tim O'Neill will be able to answer that one for you. He's on here.
Yeah, I would ask Tim.
Terry says he loves the base.
Thank you. I love it too. It's really cool. So now that you got your tail clip in, you can either clip on your tail, which I like to do to make sure I have the right amount of material where I can cover up this actual like metal section that's showing. I'll take filler flash. This one I'm gonna do in chartreuse. Let's see, expose a small portion of it, and then tie it down. Work in front of it. So this filler flash is actually going to be what you're going to conceal the shanks, your shank connection with. So cover that up a bit.
Ed Hayes, how do you get the upgraded hubs? You have to know someone. Steve from the Delaware Valley Fly Fishers Club is on.
See.
There we go. Someone said they love the bobbin.
Oh yeah, I love it too. It's super easy.
Oh.
Alright, so. Oh yeah.
Falling down on my
Ended
toe.
up using all my hen saddles. Alright, sorry about that.
Hold them up.
Gonna pick 2 hen saddles out real quick. Same thing, just like the other sections. Take your 2, match them up, strip off the fibers. Got your clean feather there. Grab them by the tips, stroke back the fibers, then come in here with some scissors, snip them off, and then tie it down. Work up to the eye of the hook with it.
Chip Hildebrand says, have you ever tried making your own shakes, or you just buy them? We just buy them.
Yep, just buy them. I haven't gotten into the shank making yet. I might at some point, but I don't know. Alright, so Hen saddle all the way up. 3 wraps behind. 3 wraps front. Snip off. Alright, so there we go. Now all we're gonna do is whip finish. And then snip that off.
Martin says, what country are you from, Miss Junior? He's from Scotland, too.
We are from the United States, specifically Virginia.
Well, Christina, Ani's friend, is watching you.
Alright, there we go. Now you're going to clip in a 15mm shank. And then swap out your jaws. Gonna end up using the fine point jaws. Go. Alrighty, so.
Corey Walker said, I'm English. I like anything that will take a fly.
There we go. Alright, take some filler flash, tie that in. Wrap that up real quick.
Grenade said he is worn out from watching. He's glad he has a connection.
Tell him I have the flies done for Saturday.
You tell him.
Oh yeah, sorry. A little bit tired too. Alright, so that off.
Who makes that flash?
Hairline. This is Hairline's Chocklett's filler flash.
Show the package over there.
That one right there. Huh? I haven't eaten anything today.
Ed says, where are we going Saturday?
Trout fishing. Let's see. Pick out 2 Hen Saddle Feathers. Lay them on top of each other. So.
Someone said they dig the swappable sections.
Probably one of my favorite parts of this fly too. Alright, trim that little triangle out of it. Tie it down. Alright. Palmer this up just a little bit, all the way up to the eye of that shank.
Someone with Nor-vise said they like to trout fish.
Who was that, Ed?
They're signed in as Nor-vise, so it's either, I believe it's going to be Mr. Tim. John asked where you're going to be fishing in North Carolina.
Off of Harker's Island, near Atlantic Beach. Probably one of my favorite places on earth.
On Earth?
Oh yeah.
Holy moly.
Alright, so.
Tim said it was him.
Alright. One more shank. And then we're off to the hook. Go.
John wants to know what kind of flies you're taking with you tomorrow.
Shark flies. Let me grab that game changer.
No, you just sit down.
Yeah.
Braden, quickly. Well,
Shark flies, just big game changers like this. This one comes out to about 12 inches long. But that one's tied entirely out of flash. Alright, so tie that down, and then palmer that up all the way, little ways past that shank connection. There we go. This fly here, I'll be casting with a 7 to an 8 weight. And if you're talking about that big game changer back there, that one would be with a 12 weight.
Tip said you throw that giant changer to a shark, you're crazy.
Oh no, that one's for a king mackerel.
And if he loses it, he owes me $55.
I've got a different shark game changer back there. I'll send you a picture of it. Alright, so now I'm going to use 3 hen saddles. Match up these two, and then I'll match up the other.
Now, what rate rod? I can't even speak. What weight rod do you throw your double?
I just talked about it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm texting and reading.
Yep, 8 weight for the double. There you go. So, cut that triangle on it, and then tie those down. Come in here and then pull out all the webby fibers.
Someone asked, does your mom fish?
Yes, she does.
When she doesn't have a camera in her hand.
Yep, and she's pretty dang good at it. There you go. Palmer that up.
I'm from North Louisiana, so all we really fish for is panfish and largemouth bass. Oh, good gracious. He says he has an 8 weight.
When are we going? That thread just cut on that shank. Saved it. There you go. Tie those down, pick them out.
Daniel LeBlanc said you would also be able to mix the white hen feathers with chartreuse. That would look cool.
I did that. Actually, I did this one for yellow. If I could, yeah. Started doing that for yellow up near the head for this one here. And then I ended up blending up into a full head of yellow. So I started right there and then just went into straight yellow.
Say hi to Joe Bragg.
Hey, Mr. Bragg. go. A little bit of bone dry on the thread. Alright. Then we're going to swap out from the shanks in this jaw here. We're going to comb this out one more time.
Joe said, "Hey, buddy, proud of you." Mike Dutton had to go. He had put his kids to bed. He said he had to get himself ready too because he's got to go to work before his boss kills him tomorrow.
Alright, so we're going to swap into the standard jaw. Get this out of the way, sorry about that. Now we're going to put in a 2-aught Gamakatsu B10S. And then...
Do you know the monk said you're killing it? Good job.
Thank you. Get a good thread base coming down.
No, Mike said he couldn't ask for a better boss.
Alright, so where did that go? Right there. So now for the connection on this one, instead of doing the shank beans, I've got a hook on the back, which you can still use the shanks like I did for the single cardiac arrest. This is a 45-pound nylon coated wire. I generally like to use, I would say, probably 30 or 35 pound. 45 is fine. It lasts me a good while, and I don't see any disadvantages to it other than just being thicker.
Joe, I have 2 full turkey wings with breast feathers currently drying off. If Braden is interested. Joe wants to know if he wants some turkey wing feathers.
Yeah, sure. It's a game changer with them. Just like that other one. Alright, work down the bend just a little bit. And then slide on.
Patrick Robinson said, "One of the many benefits of the Nor-vise system. Did you see that jaw change straight NASCAR pit crew?"
Oh, yeah. Couple seconds and you're back into tying.
Bob said, "Missed you at Albany, Oregon this year." You were supposed to be there like next year though.
Yep. If this kicks out the corona. Alright, cut that off a little bit, and then a little bit of super glue. Rub that in. Alright, there we go. Alright, so clip all this back, get it out of the way. Now we're going to take a, let's see, which one do we want? Take a white Schlappen feather.
Someone asked if you're going for a dragon tail feather game changer.
That's similar to it, just got a little bit different of a head design. And then this one here's got a interchangeable tails.
Apparently you can tie nymphs with your turkey feathers you're getting.
Alright, I've been tying more nymphs.
According to Mr. Tim.
Not small nymphs, but nymphs. Big stoneflies and stuff like that. Alright, so take a little bit of filler flash.
Let's see.
And then
Joe Burton asked if you have an Instagram.
I do. It is Miller Time Flies, like the beer.
like your last name would be a little better.
Well, it's...
Move over, show them your shirt.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Then you can see.
That exactly right there.
Same thing for your website. Tell them.
Yep, same thing for my website, MillerTimeFlies.com.
Oh, say hi to Becky Johnson. I haven't seen her forever.
There we go. Then trim off this.
How
Alright.
do you not stick to everything with all the super glue on your fingers? Christopher David.
Don't know. Alright, so just like last time, take your Schlappen and then pull them out so they're not all sticking together. Go underneath onto your thread, and then
Somebody said they would love to watch you tie a 22. Probably tie on a 22.
pick all that out with your wire brush or comb or your bodkin.
Terry Landry laughed and said beer's good.
And then you're going to end up palmering this back as you wrap. Tighten this up a little bit. Go, keep on going up a little bit farther. A little bit more. Alright. But if I did that with, say, the polar chenille, or, yeah, that's what it is, it would lay down just a little bit more, rather than getting that thicker and denser of a profile with that filler flash. So treat it like a dubbing loop, couple wraps, 3 behind. Couple in front. Pick all that out. With it all being wrapped around your thread, when you did that, while you did your complex twist with the vise, it just made it a little bit more, just a little bit more durable, being it's all furled into one. And then we're gonna take this here. And then white laser dub, pinch and stack right on top of each other.
Joe Stars one.
And one, couple wraps. And then couple.
Joe Stars one.
Hey, Mr. Mistari. Alright, same thing on the bottom, just directly on the belly.
What's the one fly you hate to tie, Braden?
Any nymph, any dry fly. I'd say dry fly. I can deal with a nymph, but dry fly is a no-go for me.
And Chip asked, what thread are you tying with?
This is 6/0 Semperfli. It's 100 Denier. There we go.
Christopher Dugan said, awesome ties tonight. Thanks for showing off your skills.
Thank you. Put a little bit more on there. A little thin of a stack on there. Alright, to the belly. More white. There we go. Directly on the belly. Ooh. There we go. Pull back those fibers, pull back the top fibers. Wrap in front. Alright, so far we're going to pick this out. Pick out the belly.
Terry Landry said the dry fly saved him, but if we'd have been on Game Changers, you would have destroyed me.
Thank you. You were awesome.
Kim's on. Say hi to Kim. She said it's great to see your handsome face and skills.
Thank you. Here we go. Last stack here on the front. Do a little bit of orange. There we go. Alright, so pull back the bottom, pull back the top, wrap in front. So, unlike the other one, I actually didn't have to wrap on top of the dubbing at all. So, there we go. For the doubles, I tend to trim up the dubbing a little bit on the heads, but you can still leave them long. And even on the singles, you can trim it up to get whatever you want. So, pick out the belly. Pick out the top one last time. Then
Jack Scott, how did you come up with the name of the fly? Yeah,
so,
Braden, how did you come up with the name?
So first of all, I had a fly that I was messing around with on a worm hook that was on its side. And, of course, Kelly Gallup had his fly called the Flatliner. He couldn't call it the Flatliner. But I was with Tim and Tyler. We were striper fishing, and the fly did really well. And that fly, I didn't post it yet, didn't show it off yet. I wanted to tweak it a little bit more. It was going to be called the Cardiac Arrest, which Tim and Tyler both helped me come up with. And then I kind of sat on that fly for a little while, didn't really tie a couple more, and then I ended up coming up with this, and then it kind of never really messed with that other fly again. And I couldn't figure out a name for this fly.
Before you were getting ready to do a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
The Fly Fishing Journeys.
Yeah, before we were doing the Fly Fishing Journeys podcast, and I didn't have the name for the fly, but I was going to tie it and show it off and all. And I already had success with this fly, like the other one I did for striper, but I didn't have a name for it, so I kind of just went with another one I already had that we didn't show off yet, the cardiac arrest. It's a strange way I got the name, but it's all I had. And the other fly, it had its action where it looked like it was a dying baitfish on its side, and it's called the flatliner. So I'm going to come in and turn this up just a little bit. Just taking off a little bit at a time.
Fred Tim says, do you know the historical name of the technique you were using when you were pulling and stacking your dubbing?
I do not. Alright, so just a little bit.
Just asked him if he does since you don't.
Just use your fingers to guide it. Just so you don't go in like a deer hair and just hack it all off.
Oh, Tim says it's called the high tie.
There we go. Alright, let's put some eyes on it. Alright, so.
Brian Ratcliffe said he loves the name and he's from the UK.
Lock it at 90 degrees and then directly on the side.
Duke says he sees a barber school in your future.
Then all I'm going to do is pinch it onto the side there.
Somebody just asked how old you are.
I'm 14.
Man, I love this.
Drop that eye.
Your dad's helping me respond. Your granddad's helping me. I can't keep up. Tyler says with those skills, maybe you should be offering quarantine haircuts.
I don't know about that.
You will not be cutting my hair.
Everybody's getting buzz cuts. Alright.
Let's start with Charlie.
Alright, so got your eyes on. Kind of just roll the blade into it. Just gonna give it like that rounded off head.
Your fingers in the front are blocking.
Sorry about that.
Chip says he got his buzz cut today.
Alright, time for the UV.
Covered up.
Alright, so for the head, just like the single hook, Solarrez Flex. Jeez, I got dubbing everywhere. Alright.
Huh, no, he has not. Say hi to Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. You can use your fingers to kind of position it where you want.
Somebody said that looks like a parrot.
Kinda. Just using the little dropper on the UV resin to work it into the dubbing.
Someone said, what are you using?
I'm using a Solarrez Flex. I'm just going to work it into the dubbing and around the head for durability and keeping the profile of this dubbing. Work it into the throat of it.
Brian Ratcliffe said it won't be long before you'll be in the Hall of Fame with fly tying and your patterns.
That'd be awesome.
Terry Landry said he is impressed with your tying and camera skills. You made a list of tires I have to meet.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Mr. Jerry's on. Graham's neighbor just got on.
Hey, Mr. Jerry, how are you? Let's see. Alright, so now that you got your dubbing head, you're going to get whatever profile that you want. Say I want it a little bit more rounded off. Let's say probably about that.
Alright, Fred Tim says carding method. Check out Barry Ward Clark book on it. Okay, I'll write that down. And then it says he finds a small WHAL battery razor. There you go. Helps with trimming and shaping. Don't you? I think you do have
Something.
razor in there too. Great fly, just an FYI. UV resin is toxic. Try and use gloves. Say it in so.
So, just like the single hook cardiac arrest, a lot of both of these flies have a lot in common. Both of them have a lot of the same techniques used in them. I'm gonna go ahead and keel the double hook right now, but
Miss Spearfield says hi.
Hi, Miss Spearfield.
And then Tim Bort said, how you doing? Met you when you were at the Edison show in Jersey.
Awesome.
Nice pattern.
Thank you.
And Grandma says, can she get an autograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't her last magazine have autograph?
I think so.
What species are you using this fly on?
Largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, snakehead, bowfin, hopefully stripers at some point, and really anything that's going to eat a bluegill. You can tie it in a shad pattern. The double hook, you can tie it bluegill or in a shad pattern, or whatever bait fish you got in your area. You can beef up the hook and make it look like a pinfish, and I'm sure you could get snook on it, or redfish, and then, I mean, anything that's going to eat a small bait fish, really. So we're going to come in with the lead wire, fold all this back, and then 025 lead wire. Then we're going to wrap it all around, wiggle it off, pair of scissors. A little bit of UV glue.
Alright, let's see. I gotta back it up here. I'll hide to somebody. I got behind. What does the UV light do for the fly?
So the UV light, I'm putting a lot of the glue that I'm putting on this fly is actually UV cured. Like what I just put on now, it's a UV curing glue, and the light just cures the glue. It makes the fly, it's going to make the fly more durable, and there's different viscosities of the glue. Like I have the flex glue, the thin glue, and the thick. So I can use the different glues for different applications of the fly rather than just having super glue where you can use it on certain parts of it but not all of them.
Ryan Davenport said, awesome job. Russell Rose would like to try that on the Delta for striper. So would you, wouldn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Andrew Spangler went after snakehead today, lost one beside his kayak.
Awesome.
Color Time Plaza, the new watch, great job. Plus, any patterns you design, like tonight in name, make sure you categorize them so people know you're the name behind them. Thank you for reminding him that. Let's see when it says any instructional video on YouTube for this fly. There will be. There will be probably.
There's
Tuesday.
one on.
This will go up Tuesday or Wednesday on YouTube.
Well, this one and Josh's channel.
Well.
Yep. So, one of my good friends here in Virginia, he has a YouTube channel on that has actually the single hook version.
You're not tying it down.
I'm not tying the single hook version. One of my buddies is, but I will have the double hook version on there at some point soon.
This will go on your website, and it will also go on Nor-vise's YouTube channel. Will it be up by Tuesday or Wednesday?
I don't know if y'all heard my mom, but this live stream on the single hook version and the double hook version here will be on my website, and then the Nor-vise's YouTube channel. But one of my buddy's channel is Have Rods Will Travel on YouTube, and that's just on the single hook version.
How many hours a day do you tie?
It depends on orders and what I'm feeling for my own tying and box, but
and starting next Wednesday depends on his schoolwork again.
Yep. But I'm not really sure because a lot of times I lose track of it. Yeah, normally all day. Just tying orders and everything like that, and sometimes after tying some of the orders all day into the night, I'll just tie some for my box and stuff like that.
Let's see. Do you feel the need to keel the front hook?
I do. So I actually added a little bit on there. You can run it on actually the front hook and the back hook. I believe it's on keel hooks on both of these. Yep, so even on the original, I've got it on the back of it, and then the second gen, I've got it on the back too. So, if I'm tying these a bit slower for my box and really making them how I want them to be, I'll actually put the keel on as I'm tying rather than after I'm tying.
Let's see. Looking forward to possibly seeing a video in the future on how effective they work in hydrology situations.
See it?
Oh, it's right on your screen, right there.
Wait, water.
Well, you caught a nice what not too long ago on one of yours.
Oh yeah, I got I believe my second biggest smallmouth bass on, but this is actually the first gen. You got 20% battery on your phone, and
Brian Ratcliffe said, when's your first book coming out?
I'm not sure. Hopefully one at some point, but
Terry Landry,
not too sure.
Can you repeat why you keel it?
So the reason why I keel all these, and even my game changers and some of my larger baitfish patterns, a lot of patterns don't need keeling, and the keeling just adds weight. But rather than for these, when I want that flat profile on the head, the skinny profile, it's mainly so it doesn't roll over in the water when I'm swimming it. And sometimes it will roll over, which it'll add to the action and help with the flash and all. But it's mainly to keep it in line and straight up and horizontal in the water with these hooks down, because that's how I designed the pattern to swim, and then still have that glide action but swim like a game changer in the water. So there's a couple different reasons why, and it also just adds weight to keep it down, rather than when I'm two-hand stripping it and keeping it swimming, I can keep it just below the water surface, say for like a snakehead or bowfin, or that's just waking on the fly to eat it. You can keep it just below the water surface, and you can change up the amount of weighting for the keel, or just none at all and fish it slower, where you can have it. I had one where I didn't put any keeling on it at all, and it kind of just hovered there like a jerk bait, and you can just twitch it with the rod tip, and it just jerks to the side like a jerk bait. It's really cool.
I want to see if anybody has any questions.
All right, if you got any more questions for the flies or for me or for the vise, anything else, just let me know, because pretty much about done here.
Why don't you can show how you switch the tail on and
Oh,
off for those who weren't always on.
So if you weren't here a little bit ago, I tied tails for the flies. So just clip off the tail. Say I want to put on a chartreuse curly tail to match the body a little bit more. I can just clip that on, or the white one to match the body. What? Thank you, Mr. Davis. Thank you, Mr. Messer.
All right, just remind everybody that if you forgot there, Tyler,
thank you, Mr. Scott.
Down there, I'm gonna knock you out. Remind everybody that if you did not answer their question, that you will go back through this
and
answer everything.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this live stream and asking questions and everything. But if we didn't answer one of your questions or anything like that, we will go back in and make sure we answer them, and just hopefully you get the notification that we answer your question. But thanks for watching, everyone. I've had fun time for y'all, and
let's see. Also great to see a younger generation into tying. It's fantastic sport. Great demo. Great job.
Yep, I love it. Love everything, tying, fishing, everything about it.
If anybody has younger kids that are starting out fly tying, you got your beginner videos on there.
Yep, if you got any kids beginning out fly tying, I've got a couple videos, just beginner flies, in my website and all. So
Under
if they want
blog/video page.
Yep. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Grandma. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Good night.